Hello everyone, I'm glad you've popped over to my channel. I'm the guest designer over at Stuck Sketches and we're using this wonderful sketch for inspiration. I've pulled out my Domestic Bliss collection from Simple Stories and this photo of my favourite owl cup and my coffee machine. Couldn't survive the day without my coffee machine. I started off with the tag using one of the sheets from the 6x8 paper pack. I really quite like this floral and the colours especially speak to me. And I followed the sketch fairly closely. Needed a banner, so I made one. I find using the little grid mark on my good old trusty Creative Memories paper trimmer really handy. I've had that for years and years. It's one of my oldest scrapbooking tools. Anyway, I decided that the photo didn't quite pop off of that floral, so I've matted it with a dark navy just for a little tiny bit of a border, just to make it stand out that little bit. Some might think it's a bit odd scrapbooking a layout about a coffee machine, but really, in this household, you know it's the best way for me to start the day. No, not really. I'm not a grumpy morning person, but I do love my coffee in the morning. As you can see, I've mounted the photo up on fun foam just to give it a bit of dimension, and now it's a bit tricky for me, but I'm sticking the banner to it so that I can get ready to place it. Oh, by magic, some stickers have appeared. Then I decided a layout about a coffee mug needs to have coffee splatters on it. I'm not saying that I spill my coffee often, but it does go. I love the colour of this close to my heart sea glass ink. It's a beautiful minty, tealy, soft green, but what it does do is complement the Domestic Bliss range beautifully. Oh, I tried so hard with my stenciling not to get any ink any other places, but that splodge you just saw then covered up a bit of a boo-boo. But that's a good thing about scrapbooking. Make a mistake, it just means it's another area to embellish or keep working on. But I cut that bit because, there's only so much inking we can watch. It's a bit like watching paint dry. As soon as I placed that piece of cardstock down, I realised that A, it covered up way too much of my inking, and B, it was actually too wide for the balance or the composition of the layout, so I had to chop it. This cardstock is actually a piece from the I Am range out of Simple Stories, and the good thing about it is it does actually complement the Domestic Bliss range really well. I'm not sure why I didn't have my T-square ruler out on my desk to begin with, seeing as I knew I wanted this piece of cardstock to be straight, but I did get it, and I did use it, so that I made sure it wasn't leaning towards the left or the right. As you can see, it's a bit longer than the white piece. That's because I've actually trimmed down the white cardstock so that I can mat it on a coloured piece later on. Now that I've got the background worked out, it's time to start adding all the embellishments. The only piece of yellow patterned paper I have comes from the 6x8 paper pad, so therefore the longest strip I could cut was 8 inches long. Well, I suppose I could have tried some sneaky thing on the diagonal, but that was way too much work for me. Luckily, 8 inches is the perfect length for this little section here. The border, or the scalloped border, comes from the sticker sheet, and I took the layout off and sewed along it a couple of times for some detail, and then tried to tie a bow out of this yellow thread, and it wasn't playing nicely, so it's kind of just like a mess of cotton there, but still, it's effective. There you go, I'm showing you my sewing. I've had my sewing machine for quite a number of years now, and I must say it hasn't seen material for quite some time. As you can see, I thought ahead this time and placed the T-square ruler out before I tried to stick the tag down. Even though I'm using a sketch, I don't always think ahead and plan it properly to go, I actually should have stuck that sticker down before I put the border sticker down. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to use bliss or love in my title, but due to the constraints of the width of the patterned paper, I decided to go with love. I didn't want my letters to go onto the white cardstock. And if I'd used Bliss, that would have happened. I found some little letter stickers from the I Am range as well, stuck them onto white cardstock so that the title reads Morning Love. As you can see, I added some fun foam behind the morning just to add that little bit of depth and interest to the title. I went through the chipboard stickers, pulling out all the ones that I thought I would or could use for my layout. I started with the floral piece at the top right hand corner, but realised it was actually too heavy or too much weight for that embellishment cluster and was much better suited down near the photo. And of course, it's really obvious that that alarm clock needs to go up in that top part. I mean, it's about the morning, and I don't know about you, but I need that alarm clock to get up nice and early during the work week. I seem to have no problem waking up bright and early on the weekend, but find it a real struggle when I have to go to work. I really liked the little coffee cup and wanted to use it, but the chipboard sticker was that yellowy green, and I felt that it actually drew your eye away from the photo rather than complementing the photo, so I got the die cut piece and stuck it over the top. In hindsight, I probably could have just used fun foam to mount up the die cut, but it's done now. There are some great little tiny word stickers in this set, such as the one under the coffee mug that says the struggle is real, and the one on the little label sticker that says get to work today. I think very fitting for what this layout is about. I'm going to finish off my 3 embellishment clusters by adding some little wooden hearts and some enamel dots. The enamel dots I place in little groupings of 3, and I've rotated the colours around so that they're not all the same colour and size. Just one of my peculiarities. And then I'm going to add some journaling. Not very in-depth journaling, I might add, because it just reads, How I Start Every Day, 2017. But at least it's recorded. When picking the patterned paper for the mat, I originally chose a green wood grain and then realised it didn't actually give enough contrast to the layout. Found that this pink suited it much better. It made the layout pop more. To finish it off, I sewed around the edges. I hope I've inspired you with my layout. Please hop on over to the Stuck Sketches blog and have a go at this challenge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. It would be great if you pressed subscribe and liked my video. Bye for now.